Encounter is brought to you by the Broome County Council of Churches, where we connect compassion with needs as we inspire growth with dignity. You'll find us in special places throughout the community. For those who remain hungry, we provide meals. For those who are challenged, we build wheelchair ramps. We comfort those who are ill, minister to those who are confined, and we remain an advocate for change and understanding on behalf of every element of our community. Connect and inspire. Encounter the Broome County Council of Churches.
Hello, I'm Reverend Alicia Dixon-Gerard. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Encounter Show, a show of the Broome County Council of Churches where we talk about faith and family and community and all sorts of other fun things. And today we are talking about National Night Out, and I have two very illustrious guests with me, the organizers of that event, and I am going to let them introduce themselves. Whichever one to go first.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on. My name is Reverend Henry Ausby. I'm the pastor of Hands of Hope Ministries on the east side of Binghamton on Robertson Street, and also the coordinator of National Night Out Against Drugs and Crime. Thank you.
I'm Daniel Flanders. I'm a lieutenant with the Binghamton Police Department. I manage the crime prevention unit, and I'm here to help out Reverend Ausby as much as I can with this National Night Out.
Ah, wonderful. And I've just met you, even though you've been in the community a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've worked for Binghamton Police for 15 and a half years, mostly doing, I did some detective work, I did some community police work. I worked as the Binghamton liaison for quite some time, but most of it's been, a lot of community policing type stuff.
And I was a student. You did some liaison work with Binghamton University, and I don't think I ever saw you. So,
well, that's probably a good thing.
right. I was about to say you're just a well-hidden secret, but yeah, you're right. Probably a good thing. Yes. It means I wasn't in trouble.
Right.
But Pastor Henry, I've known
you
you
don't
a
always
while.
have to be in trouble.
Well, that's true. You could just want to say hi.
Correct.
Yeah. But I've known you for quite some time, Pastor Henry. I forget, like 2012.
At least that far back. We go back a long ways, but it's been all good too, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing that it's been all good, and I'm glad that we've just stayed in touch. And I think it was when I was at Hands of Hope for a bit that I learned about National Night Out Against Crime and Drugs. And amazingly, I had kind of never heard of it, but sometimes, I originally came here as a student. Sometimes students are in their own little bubble, and then you graduate and you get your first job and you're in your own little bubble. So, but I remember learning about it and attending it and it being a great night. Tell us a little bit about the history of how it got started.
In Binghamton area, it started way back in 1996, and when I was able to attend and connect to a crime prevention event, with the police department of Binghamton. We went down there, and I happened to see this on one of the programs that we had. They were talking about National Night Out in different cities like Buffalo and Rochester. And I hadn't heard of it before. So that's the first time I heard about it. I said, wow, we need to bring that back to Binghamton. So we came back to Binghamton, we started working on it, and we had our first event in 1996, and we've been going strong since then.
Yeah. So what is kind of the purpose of the night, Lieutenant Flanders? Like what would you say you're trying to accomplish?
Well, National Night Out, obviously it's a national thing where hundreds and maybe not even more, thousands of police departments come together every single year on that specific day, the first Tuesday of August, correct?
First
and so the police departments, they get together with their local communities here, and we come together and we become one basically, and we allow the community to see us in a different light. We're not coming to their door, they're coming to see us. They're realizing that we're there to help them out, and not only are we there to help them out, that we're humans like them, and we're just there to come together and have a good time that night.
Yeah, that's a unique approach to developing relationship between community and law enforcement that I think maybe used to be a bit more common, that local officers used to live in the communities kind of they policed, and maybe today not so much. I don't know what the statistics of that are.
maybe in the past we had a lot more walking posts, and you know, so your police officers would be walking a beat rather than in cars handling calls all day long. So when the officer is in a car handling calls all day long, the community doesn't get to see them like they used to, right? So now, you know, in today's day and age, the walking post is kind of like a legend, if you will. You know, only the old people remember it. But we're trying to bring that back now with some community policing that we've had running throughout the city, and residents have seen police officers walking around in their neighborhoods, and they've loved it, and it's been well received.
Yeah.
So we're hoping with the community policing initiative that we're doing with all the walking and whatnot, and the National Night Out, that it can show the community that we're trying to come back together.
Right, right. How did you get it started in Binghamton, Pastor Henry? Like, it's a huge event, a lot of work to organize. Like, how did you go about introducing this thing to this community?
Well, of course, you know, it couldn't be done by one person. So we had a lot of people. We reached out to the community, those people the stakeholders of the community in particular. One of the aspects of this program is to heighten drug prevention awareness and crime prevention awareness, so that people will know what they can do, the part that they can play, you know, in keeping their neighborhood safe.
Right.
So we invite the different stakeholders that are in crime prevention and drug prevention to come out, and also they'll set up booths at the National Night Out, and they give out information to people, you know, so they can know, you know, what they can do. So we started by just organizing them, bringing them together.
Yes.
We understand, and I really appreciate the police community partnership part of it.
Right.
And the fact also that the city of Binghamton takes a big part in helping us now as well. But we realize one thing, that no matter how good the police are, the government is, they cannot solve this problem on their own.
Yes.
We need all of us working together in order to solve this problem, and that's the key behind it. Bringing everyone together and letting the community see that we are together.
Right.
Let the community see that they are not alone. They have people who are on their side, who will work with them to help them feel safer in their communities, feel safer in their parks, feel safer walking the streets.
Right.
And that's really what this is all about, bringing people together so that they can feel safe, you know, in their communities.
Yeah. Who were some of the stakeholders, and kind of define that for people who may not be familiar with the term?
You take organizations like one of crime prevention, crime, Lord's Hospital has been one. That's been, the health issue has been really big, and it's, especially now, it's a big thing. There are a lot of different organizations that work with drug prevention.
Yes.
You know, and so we contact them and get them involved and bring them out, and they've played a big part, because people need to know what they can do.
Yeah.
People need to know what organizations out there that they can go to when they're in need.
Right.
So those are the organizations that have been there for us and been working with us, you know, and helping us to help the community feel safe here.
So stakeholders would be kind of the people who have an interest, like a vested interest in seeing the community safe, or community change, or whatever the case may be. So Lords, because it is kind of a, would you say it's like a public health issue in some ways when you talk about preventing crime and drug addiction?
Yeah, I would say it is. We work with a lot of those agencies to help combat some of those issues that we have with, you know, the drug issues that we have. That's pretty big in our community these days. And I work alongside with a lot of those agencies, just to come to some sort of understanding of where we're at and where we need to go.
So public health and other crime prevention organizations, and other kind of recovery and drug prevention and treatment organizations.
Most of them have played some part in this at one time or another. You know, and they like the idea of being able to get out where people are going to be, where we're going to have large crowds of people, so they can get more words out easily, more information out easily. You know, so they have been really great partners with us. in this, because it's a matter of information, getting people the information that they need. And if we could just do that and help people to know what they can do, they won't feel afraid to come out in their community. They won't feel afraid in their communities. One of the issues that we faced over on the east side of Binghamton, where we are now, is a couple of years ago there was a shooting of a little 13-year-old Alicia.
Is it Alexis?
Alexia, yes. And what it did, since it wasn't solved, like people were sort of fearful in the community. They didn't know what to expect. So if we can get the police out there and talk with people, and they can feel more comfortable with their community, and that things are being done, that they have someone that they can go to find these answers.
Yes.
So one of the things that we have done is have different events, talking about her and helping people to get more comfortable with being in the neighborhood and knowing that they are safe.
Right.
They are safe in the community. So that's so very important. This part of police community working together.
Yeah.
That's a big part of what we're doing.
Right.
In the community.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we look to raise the neighborhood spirit of the community, because that can really take a hit when things happen in the community that people don't understand, or they don't have enough information about.
Right.
So anything we can do to raise the neighborhood spirit. So we come out, and this National Night Out is not just a coming into the community, but we call it a neighborhood party.
Yes.
We come out to really have fun.
It kind of is. I've been there.
Yes. We come out to have fun, and everything is free. We have free food, games for people to play, especially for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
We have those all kinds of games that kids can get involved in.
The bouncy houses.
The bouncy houses especially. They are a big draw, and we have those out there. But so that people can just, in a comfortable situation, they can sit down and get to know their neighbors.
Right.
That's a big thing about it. Get to know who's living near you, as well as getting to know the police officers there, and get to know the civic officials, because they come out to these events and they go around and talk with people as well. So just getting to know everybody who's around you, and getting to know that, and although you've heard about crime, you have more people who are working with you than the criminals out there.
Yes.
And so the big aspect of this is, we call it giving crime and drugs the going away party.
Oh, I love that.
We want them to let them know that they can't be at home here.
Right.
So we just throw a party to celebrate the fact that we are still here, we're still fighting, we're not giving up our community, we're not giving up our park, we're not giving up our neighborhood. We are organizing, and we are fighting back.
Yeah. As a party to say that, we're here, and we're here to stay,
That's right.
and a party saying we're kicking you out,
Yes.
and we're happy about it.
Yes, exactly.
If you've just joined us, this is Encounter, a show of the Broome County Council of Churches. I'm Reverend Alicia Dixon-Gerard. I'm with Pastor Henry Ausby of Hands of Hope Ministries on the east side, and Lieutenant Daniel Flanders, talking about National Night Out Against Crime and Drugs. And so you've said some key pieces, Pastor Henry, about no one can organize this event and take care of our communities alone, that it's a partnership. How has that partnership developed and worked, and what can help that partnership of law enforcement, Lieutenant Flanders, with the community? What else can communities do to help build that sense of greater community and connection?
I think the relationships that we have right now are working really well. I've been in contact with the Reverend here as far as the National Night Out, and what he may need as far as resources. There are people that contact me. I think there's a couple pharmacies that want to be involved, that are willing to donate and that sort of thing. As far as it's really just making the community aware that that this National Night Out is basically for everybody.
Yes.
It's not just for the people that live there. It's also for, like he said, the stakeholders that are in the community. And there's really not a lack of stakeholders that want to be a part of it.
That's a good thing.
And one of the big things with working with clergy is they have the ability to reach out to their people.
Yes.
Where, as a police department, we don't have that ability, you know, to reach out to as many people. The clergy really have the ability to reach out to the majority of their people and let them know that, hey, this community event is important, and along with that, we get to know, or they get to realize that, you know, the police are there for them. There are services that if they need them, they're there for them. You know, we spoke about the health crisis of drugs and addiction and that sort of thing. There's a little bit of a stigma that goes along with that as far as asking for help. And when it's readily available and it's being provided in a family-friendly type event like National Night Out, you know, it kind of takes away that stigma.
And you had mentioned something about it gives the community the opportunity to see the humanity of the police officers who are serving in their community and just getting to know each other, you've mentioned, Pastor Henry, which is so important because it's a kind of a human connection that sociologically people have noticed is missing, where, you know, people used to go out, kids used to go outside to play, now they're kind of inside on their devices. People used to sit on the front porch and greet people walking by. Now you're lucky if you have a front porch and a sidewalk to walk down. So just our overall culture of community has kind of changed over the years. No more kind of walking the beat as much, but that's kind of coming back. And so with those dynamics, we have to kind of be much more intentional about getting to know one another and mutually cooperating towards a good goal of making sure that drugs and crime are not ruling our communities and that everyone feels safe. And safety is kind of probably one of those basic human rights, I would say, that everybody wants to feel. And that's why law enforcement is there, is to help with that sense of safety, not kind of, you know, put people on edge, which sometimes maybe has been the feel or perception. So this seeing the humanity and another fun side maybe of the local officers, along with getting to know each other and really being neighbors, is such a key part of National Night Out.
We have organizations like Crime Victims Assistance, you know, they can come in and there's so much information they can give to people, you know, about what they can do, who they can contact. And that's the idea is let you get in front of and talk face to face with someone that if you need them further down the road, you know who to call, you know who to contact. So we can bring those organizations out and you can see them and you can know who they are, you know, and that's so very important. The theme for this year is going to be Better Together.
Oh, I love that.
And in the face of so much division everywhere, we need to know that we need to work together. And that's the only way. There are a number of issues that all of us face. But what we're trying to say is your issue is not just your issue. My issue is not just my issue. Our issues are all of our issues. You know, and the only way we're going to solve them is if we come together and work together. So that's the word we're trying to get out. Let us come together. Let us help you to solve whatever the issues are in the community, whatever the issues that you see that you're involved with. We can do them better if we work together to do it.
So. Yeah, there's power in the numbers, and isolation is really, you know, since we're a Christian show, partly, I can say this, I think a trick of the enemy, a trick of Satan, that to make you think that you're alone and have no power. And that's just simply not true. There's all these people working together wanting to root towards the same positive things. So what are some things, either one of you can jump in on this, that people can do to prevent crime and kind of get in front of and prevent drug addiction and help keep our neighborhoods safe? What are some concrete things people can do?
Well, I think as far as preventing crime, one of the most important things people can do is like lock their doors at night, lock their vehicles, don't leave valuables in their vehicles, don't leave your keys in your car. If you see something and it looks suspicious, say something, call us, you know, because usually for most people, that's your gut feeling, and that usually is the right feeling.
Yes.
You know, so that's one of the big things as far as crime prevention goes, is like just being aware of your surroundings and knowing what looks right and what doesn't. And then, you know, as far as drugs and that sort of thing, you know, that's difficult. But again, it's being aware of your surroundings and knowing, like, you know, if you have a problem house or something like that on your street, you give us a call and you let us know that this is what's been going on,
Right.
and we can work with those individual callers and come to some sort of solution or
Yes.
find a way to combat it.
So don't be afraid to reach out
Right,
and pay
absolutely.
attention to one's surroundings.
Sure. That's the one big thing, I guess I would say, is like, you're correct. Don't be afraid to give us a call, because that's what we're here for. We're here to for the community, to help them out.
Yes.
And so that's where I think National Night Out is important, because again, it lets them see us as not as the police officers who are driving by their house in a car with flashing lights, but in a different light, you
Yeah.
know, where we're approachable.
Approachable. Yes, that's the word that came to mind, approachable. And doing some of that getting to know, I think it's kind of called in organizational circles a warm handoff rather than a cold call of calling someone you don't know. This is an opportunity to get to know folks so it's warm and you feel much more comfortable approaching and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So with National Night Out, just as it says, we're shutting out the night, shutting out the darkness. So we ask people at a minimum for that night, turn your porch light on for that night. Lock your doors, and then come out. You can have front porch vigils. You know,
Yes.
get together with your neighbor.
I love
you know,
that
just
idea.
for that night. You know, you come
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
and just get to know each other. But during that time, that day we have people have block parties. We have all kinds of activities, you know, outside of what's in the park. Other people who may not be able to get to the park have different events at their homes or whatever, you know, cookouts.
Yes.
And other fun things to do, just to bring about that neighborhood camaraderie.
Yes,
You know,
I
that's-
love that. Cookouts, block parties, because getting to know your neighbor is a key part of prevention, because they
It
can
is.
look out
Absolutely.
It is,
for you.
absolutely.
Yeah, I've been
And
blessed
a
with
lot
good
of that
neighbors.
is we don't have that anymore. You know, a lot of people just like to stay in their houses, and especially after COVID,
Yes.
it became a real thing, and now we're trying to come back from that.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I think knowing your neighbors is very important to crime prevention.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know your neighbors and you're not invested in your neighbors to a certain extent, what's the point? You know?
Right, right. You're living on that same block in that neighborhood. It becomes a joint effort,
Right.
keeping one another safe. What's the importance of clergy being involved in this? Like you said, Lieutenant, they know the community, but why else should clergy be committed to this?
A number of reasons, and I think one of them is because, as Dan was saying earlier, they have congregation. They are connected with people, and we need them to get the word out to people. But also, if you come to a National Night Out event, it's a family-friendly event, and
yes.
that's what's so very important.
Right.
You won't find anything that's repulsive to you, or things that music that you don't want to hear. Those kinds of things. Those you won't find alcohol, or
Right.
anything. You won't even find things to buy, because everything is free.
Yes.
You know, so the churches is so very important for that. Just for realizing that. That you can come to a place where you can sit down and you can enjoy it without having any of those things that you don't want to hear or be a part of. You know?
Right.
And so the churches are so very important to do that. As a matter of fact, most of the events that we have at least one church involved in that event, you know, heading up that event to make sure they put it together the way that we think it should be put together.
Right.
You know, family friendly.
Family friendly is so important. Yes, I sometimes have gone to things that I thought would be family friendly and was like, whoa, never has happened at at National Night Out.
Not at National
And I
Night
love
Out.
the fact that, you know, the hot dogs and hamburgers that are grilled good and they're free.
They're free.
Free. You can't get better than that, people. Free. And I think also for clergy, you know, we walk with people in some very challenging moments of life at times. I don't think anyone grows up saying, I want to struggle with addiction or I want to commit a crime. There are things that happen in life that sometimes lead, unfortunately, to poor decisions. And you may get that call to visit that person in recovery, to visit that person incarcerated, or be there for them when they're getting out. So we just, whatever is happening in life, our call is to walk with people and to be witnesses of their testimony and help them on their journey. And so this sort of thing we deal with all the time. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's very important for clergy to be involved.
Right. And what we try to do is get a clergy from churches in that particular community to be there at the Neighborhood Watch program. So that when you come out to that particular event, you will meet a clergy that you will know, if I have one of those problems like the one that you've just talked about, if I have an issue that need to be dealt with, that I need help with, then I get to meet the clergy in that particular community that I can go to at any time. And I would have a way of addressing those issues, you know. So that's what we're trying to do as well. Give you not only police officers that you get to know, that you can talk to, but also clergy in that particular community that you can get to know and get to talk to, and know that you can come to them at any time.
That's important to know who to go to when you need help. So what are the parks? Mention the parks that will be at this year.
Right now, Fairview Park, Cheryl Lindsay Park, Rec Park, and this year we're bringing back online Columbus Park in the center city. At the height of National Night Out pre-COVID, we had 17 different events all over the city of Binghamton. COVID sort of dampened that, but we're in the process of rebuilding those again, rebuilding those events. We're looking forward to not just parks, but get the library back online, the Boys and Girls Club back online with that. Those are places where we will be looking to have more events at in the coming year.
Oh, nice. So very quickly, Lieutenant, tell us maybe one fun thing that we can ask an officer or do to an officer to make this event memorable.
Well, I don't know. I guess maybe you could just ask them have them ask the officer what's one of the funnier parts of their job that they've encountered. You know, they could ask them just about anything, and the officers there they'll come up with something.
They'll come up with something. I love it. Thank you both for being here with us today and informing us about this event. I love this event, so I really wanted to have you guys on the show to tell people about it. So
thanks for having us.
Thank you for making time.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for joining us, everybody, and being on our Encounter show, tuning in, however you've tuned in. I hope you've learned something, and don't forget National Night Out, the second Tuesday in August.
First Tuesday.
First Tuesday. August 1st. We hope to see you there.
Yes.